Greetings, everyone. My name is Arissa Sato, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Tokyo. On behalf of my co-authors, Zefan, Sramek, and Koji Yatani, I will be presenting our work, Groupnamics, designing an interface for overviewing and managing parallel group discussions in an online classroom. During in-person classes, instructors have the ability to directly and ambiently hear group discussions from students as they're co-located within the same learning space. This enables the instructor to move between groups while maintaining an ambient awareness of how other group discussions are progressing. However, to practice social distancing, classes experienced a shift to be either fully or partially online, and thus the classroom model itself also faced many changes. Moving from a co-located space, instructors and students used online videoconferencing tools to have discussions. During these online classes, the instructors experienced a digital wall and limited ability to see and hear interaction of student groups working in parallel, which prevents them from interacting with students effectively. Thus, to better support instructors, we explored interface designs for providing an overview of parallel group discussions in online classrooms. In this work, we investigate the following research questions. We start with our first research question. What information should an interface present to instructors and how? To answer this, we conducted a series of participatory design studies with instructors who have experience teaching groups of students during online classes to identify what information should be visualized and how to present this information to instructors during online classes. In terms of what information should be visualized, the participants expressed a particular interest in vocal data, direct messages, and status indicators. We share a short summary of our design guidelines based on the participants' feedback. Provide an aggregated view of all groups. Visualize individual-level participation within a group. Visualize recent vocal activity within groups. Avoid overly detailed visualizations of individuals. Allow students to communicate status of discussions. Based on these design guidelines, we implemented Groupnamics, a system that visualizes recent vocal activity and discussion statuses of each group in a one-page view, facilitating instructors to identify groups where intervention may be needed. In our work, we focus on medium-sized classes of approximately 20 to 30 students, with small groups of students having discussion in parallel. Here, we have a short demonstration of the 4 key features. Anonymized individual student utterance visualization. Groupnamics presents the instructor with anonymized information of each student represented as a circle. A dark circle corresponds to an individual that is speaking, and a light circle corresponds to an individual that is not speaking. Group status visualization. Groupnamics presents statuses sent by students to the instructor. The background color of their corresponding box indicates different statuses. Red for asking for assistance from the instructor, and green for notifying the instructor when the group has completed the discussion activity. Direct message. Groupnamics presents the instructor with unidirectional messages from the students to the instructor. Group silence duration visualization. Groupnamics presents the instructor with information on group silence duration and frequency. We recruited 10 groups of 2 to 3 university students and recorded online discussion sessions via Zoom to simulate an online classroom. Each group was tasked with 2 discussion sessions of 15 minutes with discussion topics that did not require prior knowledge. We chose this method to fix the conditions of the students' behavior across participants and circumvent some technical limitations and focus on the primary scope of our work. We then conducted a user study and augmented Groupnamics to address our remaining research questions. How can such visualizations support instructors to identify which groups to intervene for providing help? We recruited 16 instructors, all with experience teaching or facilitating groups of students in online classes. We designed a within participant evaluation to compare Groupnamics with a baseline representation of the existing online platforms commonly used in online classrooms. Using the baseline condition, participants are able to view the names of all participants without visualization of student interaction data. How do classroom visualizations affect the level of confidence intervening with students during ongoing discussions? To evaluate the participants' level of confidence intervening, we augmented Groupnamics with an in-task probe to evaluate the participants' level of confidence intervening with a group. Here is a short demonstration of Groupnamics, including the confidence probe. We share a short summary of our results and findings corresponding to our research questions. Based on the technology acceptance model, in terms of perceived usefulness, participants found Groupnamics to be overall more useful compared to the baseline. Participants shared that group status visualization, direct messages, and group silence duration visualizations indicated in a timely manner which groups needed help and enabled the participants to find the next target group to join. However, the participants articulated that group silence duration visualizations could also prematurely present information on which group to join. PB16 described, "At first, I thought the group silence visualization was a sign of, oh, I need to come in, I need to intervene. But actually, I think the group silence visualizations are a bit fast at showing silence, so I jumped the gun. By the time I joined, the students were already talking again." On the other hand, the participants found anonymized students' utterance visualizations enabled them to identify casual, talkative, and friendly atmospheres. In terms of perceived ease of use, one condition did not show overall significant superiority over the other. Participants suggested increasing customization of levels of silence and indication of longer silences would improve the usefulness of Groupnamics. To improve noticeability of direct messages from students, the participants suggested to include sound notification or use other colors for notifications. In terms of anonymization of the students, participants felt Groupnamics provided an appropriate amount of information for one-time sessions. However, for long-term projects, they prefer to see more details about the individuals. When comparing levels of confidence prior to joining a group, the participants' average level of confidence using Groupnamics was significantly higher than the baseline condition. Participants stated that Groupnamics provided confirmation that the students required help, visualizes the fluency of the group dynamics, and provides confirmation that the students finished their discussion. There were no statistically significant differences after joining a group. Participants primarily attributed the fluctuation in their confidence to the group silence duration visualization, which they felt occasionally provided premature information on the fluency of the conversation. Some limitations of this work are as follows. As the participants interacted with pre-recorded data, our findings do not reflect all nuances of instructor-student interactions. Our work exclusively focuses on the instructor's perspective. When recruiting and analyzing data, we did not distinguish preferences based on teaching position. For example, the preferences of teaching assistants versus instructors. From our user study, we uncovered design challenges unique to overviewing online parallel group discussions. We suggest future work to explore student anonymity and surveillance in online classes, social translucence during online parallel group discussions, and history of interaction with students. There are many other interesting findings and detailed discussions in our paper. We encourage our audience to read more about our work in our publication. Thank you for your time.